Hello everyone. Yes, I know, such a professional looking setup with the bed in disarray and the cat tower behind me, and moments ago the dog was barking outside the door. But yes, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Um, I normally don't try to make a prediction video for every single pay-per-view or whatnot, or doing some of those things, but this one actually really intrigues me because I think I might have finally gotten a hold on what Triple H likes to do as a booker. So I'm trying to go less with a what would I book for WrestleMania and what do I think WWE will do for WrestleMania 41. That's my goal here. Now, normally I try to do these a little bit further out, but I've noticed patterns with Triple H's booking where he likes to have stories like keep going and going and going, and then there's a little twist right before the end. And in this year in particular, there's like 5 or 6 people you could arguably say would be in the world title matches, and obviously not all of them are going to be in it, but any combination of those 6 people will be, believable or understandable. Which, really is a challenge because then you're trying to figure out, okay, which one's it going to be? And then also, where does that put other people here? Because if John Cena doesn't make it to a title match, where does John Cena go? If Roman Reigns doesn't make it to a title match, where does he go? If CM Punk doesn't make it to a title match, where does he go? So on and so forth. And basically, you have to get everything right, or else you get nothing right. So that's quite it also leaves the entire undercard in this giant state of flux, where roughly speaking, what probably 2 or 3 of the upper card matches are going to be. But the entire bottom half of the show could be literally anything, and you have no idea. So that's why I find that this is a particularly interesting challenge. So without further ado, let's go to the actual screen here. Show you what I did. Good. Okay. So first and foremost, let me just say this right here. WWE, your website does not seem to break people up via brand. So when it came to a couple of things, I actually had to go somewhere else and go and say, wait a minute, is this person even on this show versus this show, or that show, so on and so forth. So I had to. I would have liked to have a breakdown right about here, just so I can just so I can do stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, I had to actually go through the roster and just find out this, and I came up with this generalized plan right about here. So allow me to explain my thought process for this. First and foremost, I'm working under the assumption that The Rock is not gonna be there. I'm also going to make the assumption that I'm not booking any surprise return, so no sudden Brock Lesnar, no nothing like that. So I'm also working under the assumption that they like to do these night 1, night 2 storylines. So you have to watch both days for something to have a payoff. In this situation, this match going into this match. Because realistically, we've got ourselves John Cena, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Gunther. We've got 2 titles, and we've got 5 people generally between them. And you could also argue Drew McIntyre somehow gets in there, maybe, or maybe Seth Rollins somehow. Like, there's believably 7 people that you could have in either of these title matches, and it won't actually, seem like a disappointment. So I had to figure out what is it that they're going to do. And that's where I got the idea. They're going to do a delay. One person has to win the Rumble. One person has to win the Elimination Chamber. And then someone, whether it's Cena, whether it's Punk, whether it's Roman, someone is left off the title matches. And putting any of them out of a title match when all 3 of their stories really do revolve around winning the title at Mania as their goal. Well, how do you get the other person in? So I figured John Cena, maybe, I don't know, he somehow wins the Rumble or whatnot, and he's going to go fight Gunther. Okay, fine. CM Punk we delay it a little bit more, and him and Roman Reigns are in the Elimination Chamber, and at the very, very end, CM Punk's promise to Paul Heyman comes into play, and not necessarily even on purpose, but it accidentally screws Roman Reigns out, and it becomes CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the title. Now then, where does that leave Roman Reigns? So, I'm imagining at this point, losing the Rumble, losing the Elimination Chamber, I'm imagining Roman's hold on his new bloodline immediately starts to crack. And it's, hey, why do you have the Ula Fala? Yeah, you won one match, but what are you doing? You haven't brought any titles back to our bloodline. You haven't done this, you haven't done that. So I'm imagining there's going to be some sort of bizarre stipulation that happens where somehow Roman Reigns is working double duty. He's working night one in a handicap match versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. And somehow, if Roman Reigns wins, he's getting added to the main event of night two. So there you have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, which is the storyline that, Roman wants his rematch. The best, who's better, they both have won. Then you also have CM Punk versus Roman, where, hey, your little promise with Paul Heyman screwed me over. And, of course, you have Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk with their confrontation they had last week. So, yeah. So now you have the situation of someone's probably turning heel. We don't know who, but this gets all of us into this main event scene on night two. So I guess I should probably go and say I'm imagining Roman Reigns wins this one right there. That's the prediction there. I'm also imagining Gunther wins here. You've got an entire year of John Cena. You can play out the whole, he's going for the title, constantly losing, until, somewhere not at Mania, he maybe wins the big one. And that's his send-off or something. You could do something like that with him. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the title. I say throw Sheamus a bone and give him the title. Like, this is just a match we knew was going to wind up happening. Same with probably Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax. We figured that was going to probably happen. I'd give that to Tiffany. U.S. title match. It'll be a big pop for LA Knight, so they're probably going to give it to LA Knight. But this is still like the peak for both of these people in this company right there. I figure we start off with a singles match with Rey and Penta. I figure they're going to give Penta the win. They're going to try to want to have a new Lucha star with all the merch that he's selling, so on and so forth, and try to make him the next generation of the star they go around, because, Rey Mysterio is, 55 years old now at this point? Yeah, no, they have to eventually find someone, and they've been trying to find someone for ages who will be the next Rey Mysterio, so I think they just throw Penta in there as well. By the way, I only have 6 matches on these cards each, because generally 5 to 6 matches seems to be, what the Triple H pay-per-view goes. Now, obviously, that means I'm also, not having, a title match for the War Raiders titles. Don't think they actually have much of a story. So, it would just be a throwaway match. And I'm trying not to have as many throwaway matches as possible. I figured although this could probably be broken down into 3 different singles matches if you really wanted to. But I feel like, we start off with something hot, cool them down a little bit. LA Knight matches are the only ones that actually go 10 minutes length. Have fast-paced action, give them something that they pop for, even though it's not going to be a giant, super exciting match. It's just going to be a nice, basics, fundamentals match. This match has to happen just because it has to happen. Give them another big title match. Give them the storyline that goes throughout both nights. Give them their main event, which, has to be there. Same idea generally over here, where we've got ourselves a tag team. Basically, this is the big, giant spot fest match where, hey, we need a fast-paced opener, do whatever. I'm going to assume Motor City Machine Guns go over. That should be what I would do, give them a big win on Mania. But, these are the 4 teams that can do a bunch of athletic stuff, so thankfully they all happen to be on the same brand. So there we go, there's that. Special ringside guest. So my idea is, if Jade Cargill is back on whatever, she's back from injury, we're going to play up the storyline of it's obvious like either Naomi or Bianca probably attacked her, and we don't know who did, but I'm going to assume whichever one it is, if they choose Naomi or they choose Bianca, just swap out the other person for who is the special ringside guest. Because Jade Cargill's going to go and say, hey, this person attacked me, blah, 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 blah. It probably makes more sense for it to be Jade Cargill versus Naomi, but then that means you have Bianca Belair on the sidelines, which, you know, I don't know if that would be very good if Bianca Belair was on the sidelines, but I feel like this is the more sensical match, or if somehow she's like, hey, Naomi tried to attack me, blah, 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 and then she finds out, you know, for somehow it's Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill, that's the match with Naomi on the sidelines, but either way, I'm imagining Jade Cargill is going to say Naomi attacked her backstage, and realistically we have this, you know, whose side is this person on? So if it's Bianca, whose side is Bianca on? Matter of fact, let me just do that. Whose side is Bianca on? Now we have ourselves a match of Jade Cargill versus Naomi, and Bianca on the sideline, and obviously the ending is going to be somehow Bianca chooses a side, and whatever side she chooses, that's the thing going forward, and Jade Cargill or Naomi have someone to feud with. I'm going to imagine heel turn here, because that makes more sense for a babyface to overcome 2 against 1 odds later on in the future. So I'm saying Bianca probably turns heel, joins forces with Naomi, and now Jade Cargill has, you know, a 2-on-1 that she has to go against at some point in time in the near future. So there we go. There's our little drama match there. I know Logan Paul is going to wind up having to be on this. I know Damian Priest is going to wind up having to be on this somehow. The only way I could figure out how to do this was if Logan Paul gives like some sort of open challenge and Damian Priest accepts it, because he's like, you know, like Logan Paul, or has like a talk show segment where he's like, it's WrestleMania and you're here for the Logan Paul show, blah, 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 whatever. Just like, I can't really see, like, especially with having John Cena up here or other people up here, I can't necessarily see Logan Paul versus anyone necessarily else on this card, and we need to give Damian Priest something. So I'm just imagining he just beats the crap out of Logan Paul and wins a match. Gets the fans happy, but it's really sort of just a filler match. Like, the one filler match, but it's the filler match that between 2 people that have to be on the card in some way, shape, or form. Women's World Championship match. Unfortunately, I think Charlotte Flair is coming back and gonna immediately get another title shot. So, Rhea. Now, realistically, what I actually want to have happen is I don't really even think Rhea Ripley needs the women's title. She has sort of, she's already had the long reign. She doesn't really need the belt. But then again, there's too many belts to begin with. I really would have liked to, what I really would have wanted to have right here was an intergender match, Rhea Ripley versus Dominic. I feel like that was the actual thing people wanted to see. People wanted to see Rhea Ripley beat the ever-loving shit out of Dominic. But I think they've moved beyond that storyline. I think they've moved it away. She got the belt back, and then they've kind of just dropped it. So I don't think we're ever going to see Dominic Mysterio just get beat up for 5 minutes straight, pinned 1, 2, 3 without ever getting a lick of offense in. So I think we're just going to have a rematch of Charlotte versus Ripley. And if by some chance they do like a double falsy finish somehow in the Royal Rumble versus Becky Lynch maybe, but it doesn't really matter how they wind up doing this. I think they're just going to keep Rhea strong, do that. 6-man tag team, faces go over. It's the everyone that was against Roman Reigns versus everyone who was pro Roman Reigns, and we're going to have the baby faces go over. Boom. Which, of course, if Roman turns heel and just becomes, you know, the shitbag heel again, you know, all these guys are going to then go and say, see, I told you so, which might actually be a good thing. And I actually have absolutely no idea who wins this. This is up in the air. either way, you have a storyline going forward with Cody getting more and more desperate as time goes on, as more and more people turn on him. CM Punk with his, I have a promise for the wise man, so on and so forth, and Roman Reigns just being, he's never actually apologized. He's still a complete asshole. He's just an asshole that doesn't have the means to screw everyone over right now. So any one of these three people could turn heel, and we could have like a sudden, oh my god, everyone's heel, or whatever. Not everyone, like not all three of these people are going to turn at the same time, but I mean, someone could turn, win the title, it doesn't matter which one, and it would all make sense, and then lead the storylines for the next year to take the title off them. Any one of these scenarios could work. Don't know which one, doesn't necessarily matter, but let's see. Heel, face, 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 face versus face match. Okay, face, heel, face, face, face. Yeah, someone heel has to turn here. Do you go with corporate champ Cody, or do you go with Bloodline comes back Roman Reigns? But no, if we're going to have Solo and Jacob split off somehow, because I'm imagining Solo and Jacob split up somehow, and that's how they're going to bring Hikuleo in as like the next enforcer to try to stop Jacob. I'm imagining something like that. But yeah, so I'm thinking. Ooh, do you go corporate Cody? I don't know. I'm going to leave this one up in the air. I can't really predict that, but I'm imagining whatever happens, there's going to be a heel turn. So, for the sake of argument, I'm just going to put a I don't know, H right over. Whoops. I'm just going to put a H right over there for heel turn. that's going to be the big thing. Yeah. So that's my generalized thoughts on this. Trying to think if there's anyone that seems like they really should be on the card that's not on the card. I did mention Becky Lynch. I'm not going to do surprise returns. You're injured. You deserve better. And no Wyatt 6 BS. You are the other possible option of who could win the Rumble. So if it's not Charlotte Flair, it's Io Sky. Get better soon. Didn't know Carl Anderson was still employed by WWE. I thought he was released, but okay. Same with Gallows. Hello, Robbie E. Also didn't know Noam Dar was there either. Yeah, I don't think they're going to bring up anyone from NXT specifically for this. Also didn't know Robert Roode was still around. Sean Spears, not going to happen. Yeah, they're not going to throw you up in there. Not going to throw you in there. I am missing the Tongans. Well, I'm imagining they would just attack midway through the Bloodline Handicap match at some point in time. Some sort of something or other. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm missing anyone that they would throw on the card there unless it was in like some sort of multi-man match. Like, I know we all love R-Truth. I can't really see R-Truth being in an actual match in here. They'd be in a segment, but I don't imagine them being in a match. So yeah, that's my general thoughts of what I think is going to happen for WrestleMania 41. And I think I've come up with a really decent enough, a decent idea of what WWE would do. Whether or not it's what I do is beyond the point. It's what I think WWE under Triple H would do. And if assuming both heels are going over in the main event here, having basically the baby faces win everything else, but then have the year-long storyline that gets stretched out into 2 years to try and deal with the next threat. That's a very Triple H thing to do. So yeah, I could see him having everyone, like, basically all babyface wins if we're going to have the heel champs going forward with the babyfaces chasing, which is very much a Triple H sort of thing. He's very much a Ric Flair chase the title, babyface doesn't take the title from Flair for too long before Flair has it back kind of guy. So, yeah, I think that's generally what it would be. Oh, yeah, by the way, I guess if Randy Orton somehow comes back, we've got ourselves a Randy Orton. If Randy Orton comes back in here, and then I need another heel, so who is a heel that they could just use for this if he pops back up? Who is a heel? This is one of those situations where this would have totally been a Bronson Reed sort of situation, but Bronson Reed is injured. So maybe that is where... Who would be the fourth person, if not Lesnar? If not Lesnar, who would be the fourth person to do this? Is AJ Styles back? Is AJ Styles healthy? This might be a place to shove AJ Styles in a multi-man match. Yeah, I'm going to say, if Randy Orton is healthy, I'm going to shove in an AJ Styles right here. And let me just... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to update that to an 8-man tag. Boop! So, there we go. That's assuming that Orton and AJ are healthy in time. Because AJ had problems with the bloodline, Randy Orton has problems with Kevin Owens. Yeah, this would work. Back and forth. Okay, cool. So there we go. That is my final predictions as far as what I think would be a possible card for WWE WrestleMania 41 / WrestleMania 2025, if that's better for analytics. Not that I necessarily care, because I don't even make content for YouTube in any sort of conceivable, timely fashion or frequent fashion to ever get my subscriber counts up to where they were back when I was reviewing Impact every week. So, yeah, there we go. This is just what interests me. This is the fantasy booking stuff. I enjoy that. Yeah, it's actually not that bad of a card. Now that I look at it. I mean, I wouldn't do some of these matches, but then again, this is why you don't let marks, book these sort of things, because they'll, do Tony Khan and give you every single dream match possible, and then, boop, we're out of dream matches. So yeah, that's what sort of happens. This is why you don't give marks booking power. Although I think as far as mark booking goes, this is actually not that bad. Later, guys. Bye-bye. Have fun. See ya next time.